Hey, what's good, people? Lockdown day 4. And first of all, let me let you know what I was up to last night. I watched the Doctor Dolittle movie with Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. And guys, it's not a good film at all. I would give it about a 4 out of 10. There's a lot of dialogue is poor, the script is poor. There's not enough for the guys to actually say. You're not really invested in the characters. I thought when they showed that scene where his wife was lost at sea, I thought they should have gone a lot more into that. And they could have done more with the role of Antonio Banderas as well. It just looked like it was rushed. I can't believe Universal spent 200 million on that film. They lost a lot of money on it. I think the film only made about 116 million, but it was a definite nosedive for that film. And it's funny because when you look at the way the box office has worked this year, it's been up and down and all over the place. And we know Birds of Prey from DC was a very good film. A lot of people who were big Harley Quinn fans as well just didn't really understand what the film was because of the ridiculous marketing and the name, the emancipation of a one Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey. In the end, I think after about 3 weeks, Warner Brothers changed the name of the film to the Harley Quinn movie. And you know, that's all got to be the fault of marketing, and it didn't go down very well. However, the film only cost about 80 million to make and still made over 200 million, so it's quite profitable for DC. The release of the digital film has just come out as well, along with Onwards, along with Bloodshot, Vin Diesel, which again I'm going to talk about later on. But let's cover what's going on in the coronavirus. Yesterday wasn't a good day for America at all. Obviously, coming off the back of the news that 3.3 million have signed up for unemployment, which is all record highs. The bad news from yesterday is that America just isn't listening, and you've got to really fault the leaders. You've got to put this down to the administration. When you are looking for things like dealing with a crisis, leadership comes from the top, and unfortunately, the message has not been clear. All the message has been is, we've got 15 infected. At the same time in the UK, they were running neck and neck with the UK up to about 500 infected. And now America is the most infected country in the world, surpassing China. And that's mainly because, as I said, the instructions was to not worry about it. We'll be fine. We'll have no issues by April. Well, Mr. Trump, April's coming, and you've now got more infected than any country in the world. So thank you for that, Mr. Trump. Thank you for that message. And the narrative he's pushing now is that by Easter, it will be all over. My friend, as I said in my video yesterday, by Easter, we wouldn't even have hit our peak. And I'm speaking of the UK as well as the US. We wouldn't even be focusing on the numbers to hit the peak. It's still spreading, it's still escalating. So realistically, I think these daily updates he's doing from the White House are not working. He's using them as campaign rallies, and he's using them to slag off people he doesn't like, who don't agree with him, and he's using them to spread false truths. In my opinion, I think they need to stop that. I think they need to stop covering it. Yesterday's news was 5 minutes into the conference. A lot of the journalists just pulled out from the coverage. The TV coverage, CNN, MSNBC, New York Times, Washington Post, all of them just cut. The only one that carried on throughout the whole of that conference was Fox News. All the others just stopped.
Did they really?
Yeah, they did, because it was just turning out to be farcical, considering that your country is in a worse state now than any other country in the world because of the message that was wrong. But I don't want to spend time bashing that. I just really want to focus on what we're doing, the Londoners. When Boris came out and said, we haven't got a problem, everybody go back to work. This was the Thursday. Nobody listened to Boris Johnson. Everybody stayed at home. Everything was empty. And that's just the people taking it into their own hands. And my message to the Americans is, you guys need to come out and start doing your own research and take it into your own hands. And stay at home and be safe. Look after your family. It is not okay outside. It is not going to be solved at Easter, and it definitely isn't going to be fixed by April. So ignore your leader, do your own research, and listen to the doctors, listen to the scientists. Those are the people who should be talking on the podium, not the president, yeah? Not government officials, not senators. And that's the way how it should have been from the first day out. Sorry, I keep wiping my eyes because Wifey got me on an early morning walk. So speaking of wifey, how are you, Lisa?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Working from home is hard to do, but yeah, I mean, I'm getting used to it now. But it's just getting into that routine. So my routine at the moment is yoga in the morning, about 6:37. Start work at 7:30. Have my meeting at 9, and obviously I'm running to the post office now. But yeah, then just have the normal day, and then finish about 3:30. Sit out in the garden. Yeah, so I haven't been out for a walk for a couple of days, but yeah, it is what it is. And safety first, I'm sorry. Safety first at all times. So guys, take care of yourselves.
And what's your opinion on the stimulus package for the self-employed now? So it has been confirmed. It's
Yeah.
up to 80% of the people of your salary,
Yeah.
but that's based on the last 3 years' earnings, profits.
Right.
What else is only qualifies to companies who've made less than 50k a year. It will be backdated to March, and I believe the payment's going to be June.
Yeah, and I understand they're deferring the VAT as well. So,
Yep.
it's a starting help, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that are still massively going to be suffering. So think of your neighbours, think of the elderly that are next door to you or where you live, and just look out for them. Even if you drop a bag of pasta off, if you can find one. So yeah.
Right, guys, I think we've just arrived at the post office, and you can see the queue for self-distancing looks like it's about 10 feet. Yeah. So the queue looks like it's about 10 feet, so we're going to stay here in the queue. Hopefully we'll be able to get served. Oh wow, so it's quite a long queue. Maybe we should have done this at lunchtime. Anyway guys, listen, I'll catch up with you later on today. And remember, I've still got my Westworld video that I got to put down. So listen, keep tight everybody, and I'll speak to you soon. Peace. Hey guys, just wanted to give you a quick review of Disney Plus. So at the moment, Disney Plus in the UK is looking quite good. Right now, we only have 3 Marvel films missing, which is Incredible Hulk, Spider-Man Homecoming, and Spider-Man Far From Home, which is much better than in the USA. In America, when they launched, they had 7 Marvel films missing, which included things like Thor, Ragnarok, Black Panther, Infinity War. A lot of those films were missing, but due to the Fox Disney license, we now have a situation where the UK launch is slightly better than it was in America. So well done for that, Disney. Kudos to you. But the one thing that they've decided to do is introduce The Mandalorian and Star Wars Clone Wars, 2 big series that I love, to introduce them in an episodic manner, which means in the UK we're going to get dripped and filtered those episodes. And if I'm honest, rightly so. I mean, The Mandalorian's only 8 episodes, and you'd practically get through that in one night. Considering that some of the episodes are only 30 minutes long. Longest I think is about 43 minutes or so. But listen, overall, I want to say that the yays and nays kind of counteract themselves. First, let's talk about the good. The good is the amount of library that's on there is appealing to watch. There's original shows like Encore, High School Musical, the series. My favorite, which is Jeff Goldblum's Wonderful World, which is on National Geographical. I'm a sucker for that channel. So for me, it's quite enlightening to see how that's been able to show a different side of Jeff Goldblum. And look, I could just watch Jeff Goldblum for half an hour, just him talking. I don't even have to be about anything. It just, I love the guy so much that it could just be about him talking about trains, and I'll still watch the series because I think he's just that entertaining and down to earth. But outside of that as well, there's not really enough original content, and I think overall that's where it loses out to something like a Netflix or an Amazon Prime, and it's really family friendly as well. So when you look at the amount of hardcore stuff on Netflix and the stuff that is stream rated. Now remember, when you go on a broadcast on a network, you have to have a certain certification of rating. It's the law, because the content needs to be reviewed by the board, and then the board has to give it a certification. But with streaming services, they don't have that. That's the reason why you see certain shows like, if we take Lucifer had come out and it was pretty much a police procedural show. And there was a lot of content in there that was capped. but then you put it on a streaming service and all of a sudden there's no rating. So you can have F-bombs. It's the same with Picard. Yeah, Picard, they drop some F-bombs on there and pretty much they can do whatever they want. It's just the way of streaming services because there's no licensing on there. Yes, there's a warning that is for mature audiences and things like that. But if streaming services are easier because if you want the kids to not watch certain things, then give them their own login, give them their own access, and then that can be a kid's access and there won't be any of that stuff on there. So it's very easy to manage on the streaming service. However, one of the other things as well is the quality. Now, I talked about this before. If you've got an LG OLED, if you've gone out there and spent money on a good TV like I have, and quite a few people now, then you'll have something called Dolby Vision. Dolby Vision is a higher quality version of HDR, which enables the full quality picture to be filtered in a certain way to give you colors, contrast, and more sharpness. And Dolby Vision is a higher step, a more premium version of HDR10. And what like Netflix, what that does is that gives people the ability to access that. So luckily that's what I've done, which is the reason why do not access it through your Xbox, do not access it through a Fire Stick, do not access it through anything else except for your smart TV, for those people with good quality televisions. Because if you access it straight from the television, you'll be able to use the quality of Dolby Vision and you'll be able to have that type of premium access, which shows, I mean, Infinity War and Endgame look absolutely premium prestige. The level of quality on there is fantastic. So those are the good things about it. And look, X-Men from the 80s, the Silver Surfer show from the 90s, which is amazing. There's so much stuff on there. They've got the original Jessica Drew Spider-Woman on there. There is tons of stuff to watch. It's going to keep you busy for a while. But the lack of, I'm going to go into the down parts now. The down parts of the Disney streaming service is obviously the lack of original television, which is going to get better over time, but it's just not there yet. It's really bare bones as far as new content goes. And I would say, hand on heart, 90% of the stuff on there you've already seen. Let's face it, 90% of the stuff on there, not only have you already seen, but you probably already own in some format, whether it be digitally. I can't believe I was going to say VHS, DVD, or Blu-ray, or even digital. There's a strong possibility that you guys out there have already seen and owned 90% was on digital in regards to Disney Plus. Now, the other 10%, as I said, is original programming, and it's not that great. It's average at best. So that's the reason why I'd say, look, at the moment, don't worry. But things are coming. As I said, Mandalorian season 2 is out in September. Winter Soldier and Falcon is going to be out in October. They're trying to speed that up. So there's a lot of stuff coming. WandaVision as well. So there's things are going to be coming as we go, and it is going to be worth paying for the content down the road. The other thing that I would say is a big nay is if you go to Amazon Prime or if you go to Netflix and you're using the UI, the actual system on screen works really well. It's fast, it's responsive. Unfortunately, that's not the case with Disney Plus. I've got 330 meg internet connection, so I've got a super vivid internet connection, and it is slow as hell. To start up an episode of The Mandalorian takes about 5 seconds, well, 3 to 5 seconds. So the UI does need some work. That's really down to Disney. It's down to you guys on the app. So I'm sure that in time they'll introduce different versions of the app which will be able to work a lot more better, a lot faster. Remember, this is only a new app. It's a bit unfair to compare it to something like Netflix that's been out for years and years and years. But overall, from that, that's really Disney Plus. At the moment, I would give Disney Plus probably a 7 out of 10 because it's nice that it's free for 7 days and you guys are going to burn through the content really quickly. But that's my review.